My son made this tea. It's really good. Okay, so this episode is where we're going to talk about being self-aware, but from a different perspective. I actually encountered a challenge. There was a TED Talk that I was listening to that actually blew my mind, and a lovely lady, I believe, hopefully I'm not butchering her name, Tasha Eurich, got on TED Talk and she talked about how to be more self-aware. And what she did is challenge your thoughts about introspection. Now, if you've been on my channel any times before, you know that I am an advocate, a champion of introspection. Introspection is shadow work, self-healing, healing your childhood traumas, going within in order to bring up all of the things that you've suppressed so that you can do away with them and move forward in a more healthier manner. Learning your triggers and things like that. All of that falls up under the guise of introspection. So when she said that only 95% of the population believes that they are self-aware, yet only 10 to 15% actually are, that blew my mind, because that means there's a level of disconnect so large in being aware of who you really are, but you still think you're aware of who you really are. She gave some valid points that really changed how I view introspection in its own. So, you guys know that if I learn something new, then I will pass it along, and that's what we're going to do today. I am not going to tell you not to introspect. That's not it. I still believe in introspection wholeheartedly, but the way in which I will use introspection leading forward has now changed. I'll show you why. So awareness is being knowledgeable in how you project yourself outwardly. It's usually done by consistently fact-checking mentally if what you believe you are doing is what you actually are doing. It's the difference between living in delusion and denial or living reality and understanding. Being conscious of your actions, your thoughts, your ideas, how you deal with others, and how others deal with you is intuitively hinged upon how you tell yourself the truth. But according to Tasha Eurich, 95% of people are lying to themselves about lying to themselves. The irony. Let's talk about it. Okay, so you know the drill. Before we start talking about it, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I am Lovespell, a queen with a pen, and on this channel, we talk about various subjects like emotional healing, self-care, and how to raise your vibrational frequency. If this feels like something that you're interested in, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell. We like to stir up the pot. Y'all ready or not? We often run into life coaches and gurus who advocate and championship around shadow work, introspection, digging deep into your childhood traumas in order to understand what has happened to you and how to navigate those traumas moving forward in your life. Getting to the bottom of why has always been the statement for internal understanding, i.e., awareness. I myself have been caught up in this loop of why, where your shadow work and your introspection is a never-ending path. There is no end in sight because you are always encountering some type of trauma. Life is surrounded by it. It is actually how you grow. When you ask the question, why, what you end up doing is creating a never-ending cycle of analysis paralysis. Even if you magically got the answer to your why from the universe itself, if the Most High or whatever you believe in dropped down from the sky and said, this is why that happened to you, it would never be a valid answer. For example, asking why initially when a loved one dies may give you some form of relief. You have created a goal, a purpose that distracts you from actually having to mourn that person. and accept the situation at hand. The reason why it creates analysis paralysis is because the answer that you receive or the answer that you come up to will never be the right answer. You'll always be searching for it. Because truthfully, there is no good answer for why our life was taken from you. And I use that in quotations because we own no lives, not even our own. But when you try to figure out the why of the universe, the why of the world, why I hurt, why I feel this way, why can I just let it go, why, and you get those answers, even when you receive them, you can't receive them. The reason being is because the why doesn't matter. I'm going to let this soak in for a second. The why does not matter because the why is not up to you. More so, what you should be looking for is the what. The what. I'm going to use that same example of a lost loved one and give you the what. So when you lose a loved one and you accept the hurt of it all, what you need to be doing to move forward is asking the what now. See, the loss has already happened. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't take it back. It was never up to you. And so why it happened eludes you. But what you do following that is self-awareness and moving forward. The what is the most important thing because the what pushes you forward while the why keeps you looking backwards. Analysis paralysis is trying to stand in the same place to get understanding. You can't find understanding standing in the same place. Pushing yourself forward, past all of the hurt and pain, into the future, continuing to try to look forward rather than stay back, allows for you to move past the hurt and pain. Because ultimately, that is the only thing that you have the ability to do. You cannot resurrect lives. You cannot make choices for life and death. We are not here for that for whatever reason. I don't think that the lesson is supposed to be you figuring out the workings of the cosmos. I think you're supposed to be figuring you out inside of the cosmos. Asking the question why just creates an eternal loop. And what happens is that you are chasing down an answer to a question that you cannot actually hold on to, that is never going to be valid enough for you. So in essence, you create a purpose that could never actually be fulfilled. And this sparks obsession. It can really mess with your mind. Okay. So if introspection does not make you any more aware, and saying why or what to yourself and answering those questions doesn't really bring you forward to awareness. What will push you past hurt and pain into a present space, but it is not going to make you any more aware of who you are, what you want, and how you're projecting outwardly to people. Then what does? Well, stop looking at awareness as a thought, idea, or understanding, and start looking at awareness as a time in space, a time in your life. You have present, past, and future. Now we know that introspecting is just looking in a mirror to your past. It's a rearview mirror. So when you do introspection, you're not trying to become more aware. It's not possible. Actually, you will be doing the opposite if that's what you were trying to do. Introspection is to understand where you've been. If you have purposes and goals, that does not make you any more aware. Actually, you're flying right by the past, right through the present, and ending up in events that have not even happened yet. So the only place that you should be aware of is presently in your very moment. Being aware means being here right now in reality. aware of what you were doing right this very moment. Not what you have done, what has happened, and not where you're trying to go or where you want to end up at. Those two places are either done and gone or haven't gotten here yet. And the only thing that you could be aware of is what's going on right this very moment. Awareness is not a state of being. Awareness is a state of place. Being aware of what you're projecting or your reactions to other people around you is based on asking a series of questions of what's going on in the present. You're asking questions about time, not questions about who you are. It's about time. So for example, if you are in a partnership, a financial partnership with somebody, and maybe it's a business endeavor, and this person is hell-bent on sabotaging the business, it seems to you. This person is making decisions that go against everything. You guys are arguing about what's good and what's not, everything about it. But initially when you guys started, it was on a good note, and this is where it's ended up now. You will ask yourself a series of what? What does this one person want moving forward? What is this person doing? What is what I want to happen moving forward? And what can I do to change the trajectory or outcome? That is being aware of your current situation. Understanding the why of what somebody is doing, even if that person was actually sabotaging intentionally the partnership, the financial partnership, because maybe they have overextended themselves. Maybe they are changing direction in what they want to do financially, or have changed their mind about the work. Maybe they don't feel like they're cut out for it, or whatever their internal problems are, and why they are projecting and dealing or acting in a certain type of way. When you ask that question, they're not going to give you a valid answer. They're going to give you the answer that feels safe to them. They're going to give you the answer that feels safe for you. They're going to give you the answer that answers nothing. And the why doesn't matter, because it's happening anyway in the present moment. That is what's happening. Being aware of what's happening only means understanding what is going on in that moment, right? Your awareness of a situation is just being present in the moment. So if that person does all of that, now you have to ask a series of questions of what, and to push past that behavior, to push past that situation, you might have to make some changes that ensure that what you want moving forward is implemented with or without that person. Once you've done that, yes, the loss of a partnership, the loss of a business, sabotage may happen. But what you have done is become aware of your circumstances and made avenues to change it. You went through the chaos, and now you can start over with a better understanding, a better way of doing things. That is being fully aware. Being stuck in why someone tore up your business, talking about how you had a great business and somebody sabotaged it years later, and how you could have been a great entrepreneur, but the why happened, is living in a state of the past. Introspection that brings nothing but analysis paralysis and does not make you any more aware of what is going on today. The thing about awareness is, once you become aware of your current circumstances, how you're projecting out to the world, who you are in this very moment, most people have a lack of acceptance. So if you ask the questions, what am I doing here? What do I want from this? What is my next move? What's going on? What am I telling other people by my behaviors, actions, and ideas, right? The best way to get to the bottom of that, if you cannot tell yourself the truth, is by having someone else tell it to you. Disclaimer, you have to accept it. Now, here's the charm. Here's the rule. You ask 3 people the same question. 3 people who are honest, not people pleasers, if somebody's going to yes man you. And people who have people pleasers and people that yes man them know what they have. It's not a real fact checking. What you want is people who will tell you the truth. What you project, what you put out there, what you are presently showing the world. When people tell you what you are doing, you cannot argue with it. 3 people. I always use 3. I like the number 3, but 3 people, because you want that person who's going to tell you what you disagree with. You want that person to confirm it. And then you want that person that's going to be the deal breaker between the both of them. If you get 3 hits, baby, that's you. If you don't like it, change it, but don't argue with it. 3 people are not making up things on you. If you heard something 3 times, that's you. That's what you're projecting. And if you don't like it, then ask them, why do they think that that is? That's a good why question, because that puts you in the present moment. Why do you think that I'm combative? Why? And listen to the answer. That makes you aware. Anything beyond that is you trying to exert your delusions on everybody else. You lying to yourself and then lying to others. 95% of people believe that they are aware, and only 10 to 15% of people actually are. I'm going to keep reiterating that to you, because that means you. That means me. At some time in our lives, maybe not all the time, but sometime in our lives, have lied to ourselves about lying to ourselves. How do you get to the bottom of that? How do you fix that and become more aware? Well, it sure isn't by looking in the rear view. Because when you look behind you, you are surely to crash in your present. And if you continue to look past your present into your future, you will fly right past what's going on right now. The thing is, you can't build your future if you are not in your present building it. You cannot build a future from the past. So what is your awareness doing if you're only introspecting? And if you have no idea what you are currently projecting? Now, if the point of awareness is to be more happy, abundant, fulfilled, to have a higher level of morality and integrity with a raised frequency, a better version of yourself, then all of that must be lived in the present moment. There is no amount of backtracking that will bring you presently to that place, and no amount of future planning that'll make you live that life in this moment. Every time you think of, if you are aware of who you are as an individual, instead of thinking of it as a state of being, replace that thought and start thinking of it as a place in time. Being aware is being aware of your present moments and how you're behaving in them. And no amount of introspection or projection will actually get that done. Now, don't get it twisted. I am still a very strong advocate in shadow work and trauma healing and understanding where you come from. Because it does do a lot for changing how you behave moving forward. But that has absolutely nothing to do with being aware of who you are in this current moment. You remember when you heard that saying, you should live in the moment? I think there was something to that.